My name is Maren Ellsworth, and I'm 27 years old. Competence doesn't clang, it hums. The dishwasher clicking over to off-peak at 12:01. The rent spreadsheet balancing with the neat little hush of a final cell turning green. The hard conversation reminder that pings on the second Tuesday so small, problems don't metastasize into public disasters. I like ballast. No one praises ballast until the boat lists. Adam left his courage in the window of a Thai place. I was there on a Tuesday, stealing 20 minutes between meetings, craving pad thai and silence. Through the glass, I saw him, Adam Kincaid, my boyfriend of 2 years, at a corner booth with his sister Lila and her orbit, Meredith, Kira, Ashley. They had their phones out, papers spread like a student council coup. I wasn't going to eavesdrop. Then I heard my name. Maren, Lila said, tapping her notes. If she doesn't beg, she never cared. The word beg went through me like a tack. I moved behind the bamboo divider and pretended to study the specials. Kira, in a coachy whisper, "Say, I need space. It's not working for me anymore. Deliver it steady. If she fights for you, if she shows emotion, she's a keeper." Ashley, "And record it. You need the data." Meredith, "Tyler said okay when I tested him. Revealed his true colors." Lila's pen scratched like a tiny saw. "Adam, do it tonight. Strike while your courage is up." Adam looked nervous and flattered, a boy being knighted with a plastic sword. "Okay," he said. "Tonight." My stomach dropped and steadied. 2 years together, 6 months living together, and my relationship had been converted to a science fair project with a hypothesis about begging. I stared at the steam fogging the window and learned something vital. This test was never about honesty. It was about spectacle. Spectacle needs an audience, and they'd already set up their seats. The server called my name. I left with my food and a decision. At home, I staged my counter-experiment. Laptop open, spreadsheets up, an anxious brow knitted for the camera I knew would be hidden in his pocket. When Adam came in, his keys hit the bowl like an alibi. "Hey," he said, after a breath that sounded rehearsed. "We need to talk." I closed the laptop. "Oh, thank God you're home. Yeah, we do." A flicker. He hadn't blocked for that line. He sat, pulled out his phone. The lens of it glinted like a fisheye. He started the speech, Oscar adjacent. "I've been thinking about us. I need space. This isn't working for me anymore." I let the silence hang until it vibrated. Then I dragged in a breath and performed devastation. No, Adam, not now, please." I reached across the table, caught his hands. "Who's going to help me pay off my gambling debt?" The record scratch happened inside his skull. The mask slipped. "Your what?" Tears, tremble, lower lip, method. "I didn't want you to find out like this. The online poker, at first it was just $50 here and there, but then I kept losing and I kept chasing, and now, God, Adam, I'm in deep." "How deep?" $47,000. I said it flat, like a price tag for a couch that stains. He snatched his hands back. "47, Maren! And I've been using your Netflix login for my accounts," I added breathlessly. "If we break up, they'll freeze everything." "My Netflix?" He blinked. "What does Netflix have to do with—" "You don't know about the underground betting platform," I whispered, scandalized. "Oh, Adam, you're so innocent." His phone was still recording, guzzling this like sugar water. He looked seasick. This is a lot," he said. "Is it Sabrina Lowe?" I asked softly. "Your ex. Does she know about the bed bugs?" "What bed bugs?" "The ones I think I brought back from my cousin's place. I've been treating the bedroom in secret." I breathed like a martyr. "If I move out, you'll have to handle them alone." He stood up fast and checked his chair like it might crawl. "And I maybe told my mom we're engaged," I rushed on. "She's put down deposits for next summer. Non-refundable. She will blame you if we split." His recording hand trembled. This wasn't the romantic begging session advertised in Lila's curriculum. "Oh," I added, stricken. "I signed us up for that couples marathon, $500. My running partner Kyle already made team shirts with our faces." "Maren, what— And about your car scratch last month?" I winced. That was me. I was practicing parallel parking at 3 a.m. I've failed my driver's test 4 times. Also, my car isn't in the shop. It was repossessed. "You've been driving illegally?" His voice pitched. "Only your car." The front door burst open. Lila, Meredith, Kira, and Ashley spilled in like a bargain bin SWAT team. Lila's hair was combat ready. "We heard everything through your phone," she told Adam, then cut at me. "Pack your things. This is dangerous. I turned, almost relieved. Oh, good. The counsel's here. Adam, Lila said. She's toxic. Gambling, bedbugs, you can't... Meredith, I said sweetly, is Tyler still leaving for work trips whenever your mom visits? Or did you test that out of him? Meredith's face drained. Kira, I continued, how's the graphic design business? Still telling people that's what your OnlyFans is? Silence snapped tight. Ashley, I said, tilting my head, how's the ex you catfished with a fake profile to test his loyalty? Did he enjoy being your sociology lab rat? Lila's gaze slashed to Adam, then back to me. What exactly are you implying? That I heard every word at the Thai place, I said evenly. Your script, your recording plan, your rubric for love equals begging. I'm simply responding in your own language. Adam's face rearranged into the expression of a child who knocks over the tower and realizes he's the one who will sweep. Marin. No gambling debts, I said, wiping fake tears and standing. No bedbugs. Current license. Car in the garage. I did not tell my mom we're engaged. The marathon is, tragically, real. Kira's hand flew to her mouth. You knew? She whispered. From the moment you said record it. I looked at Adam. Instead of playing your test straight, I showed you how insane it is to ambush someone's heart and grade their performance. This is gaslighting, Ashley snapped. No, I said. Gaslighting is secretly recording your partner during a staged breakup to measure love. That is textbook emotional manipulation. This, I gestured, to the wreckage of their plans scattered across the table and the floor, is a mirror. Lila stepped toward me. Get out. I'm going to, I said, voice steady. But not because you snapped, because I choose not to date a jury. Adam flinched. Please, can we talk in the bedroom? Sure. I moved past him, paused at the doorway. One last thing. I will be taking only what's mine. I will leave the apartment paid through month's end. The four of you, I let my gaze settle on Lila, then the others, can help Adam figure out the rest. That's what you wanted, isn't it? To manage his relationship like a group project? Meredith's eyes shone, furious and frightened. You're just mad you failed the test. I smiled, tired and alive. There are no winners when the assignment is beg. In our bedroom, I pulled a suitcase from the closet. Adam hovered in the doorway, small and blameless in the way people look when their courage came from a chorus. Marin, I thought, he swallowed, I thought if you fought for me, it would mean something. I fought for us for 2 years, I said. Quietly, with ballast. You wanted drama. He stared at the carpet. Lila said, I heard what Lila said. He nodded, a boy who had lost his place in the script. From the living room came the low buzz of the council regrouping, ready to escalate. I zipped the suitcase and straightened. I'm going to stay at Garrett's tonight. I'll come back for the rest when you're at work. If you post anything untrue, I will post receipts. If your friends invent anything, I will post receipts for them too. He winced. Receipts? I'm very good at records, Adam. On my way out, I passed the four of them, a clump of glittering certainty wilting under the kitchen light. Lila lifted her chin. Don't contact him. I looked at my boyfriend one last time. I won't. I closed the door and stepped into the cool stairwell, the hum of the building wrapping around me like a familiar song. Ballast is boring. It's also the reason a ship makes it home. I texted Garrett that I was on my way and that I'd explain over noodles. Behind me, in apartment 3B, a test failed. Or maybe it passed. Either way, I wasn't staying to grade it. The first night after I left, Garrett gave me his couch and his spare blanket that still smelled like dryer sheets. He didn't ask for the full story. He just set a bowl of instant noodles in my hands and said, whatever they did, you don't deserve it. Ballast attracts ballast. By morning, my phone looked like a crime scene. Missed calls from Adam, texts from unknown numbers, a chain of messages in a group thread I'd been added to without consent, family first, where Lila declared I was unstable and urged everyone to give Adam space. I silenced everything and made a list. The list was ordinary and life-saving. Passports, birth certificate, lease copy, tax folders, laptop, chargers, that one sweater with the stitched elbows, the ceramic mug my mother made before her arthritis won. At lunch, when I knew Adam would be on shift, I went back. Apartment 3B smelled like lemon cleaner and scorched toast. The kitchen table was bare except for Adam's carelessly open laptop, email up, a few tabs parked like little flags along the top. I told myself I'd ignore them. I'm not a snooper. I like consent, clean boundaries, labeled folders. Then a notification popped on the screen like the universe tapping my shoulder. Queens supporting queens. 41 new messages. The group chat icon was a glitter crown. The members, Lila, Meredith, Kira, Ashley, plus 3 other women I'd seen orbit their table at various parties. My name was visible in the last line of the preview. Marin, LOL, doesn't do jealous. That's a red flag. Consent is a holy word, so is self-defense. I clicked. I read about the bar test where Kira had accidentally brushed Tyler's arm for 20 minutes to see if he'd take the bait while Meredith pretended to get a phone call. I read about Ashley's fake Instagram, not catfishing, its protective measures, and the way her ex had failed by saying he missed the woman he didn't know was her. I read about the late period scare Lila had orchestrated for some boy 2 relationships ago to measure whether he'd comfort or accuse. I read lines about me. Cancel plans last minute to see if she gets mad. Introduce her to an ex, Sabrina, and track micro-expressions. If she's calm during arguments, that means she's disengaged. Calm means I'm regulated, I thought. Calm means you're safe with me. There were screenshots, little trophies, a spreadsheet link titled Loyalty Metrics like we were A/B testing human hearts. And then the script, the one from the Thai place, complete with stage directions, voice crack here, eye contact, ask for space. At the bottom, Ashley had written, record it, data, feelings. I took a breath and started saving everything. Folder on my desktop, 3BE evidence, subfolders, chat screens, script, loyalty metrics, lies. I moved with the clean efficiency of someone who has balanced budgets through panic and kept appointments through grief. Each screenshot landed like a tile. Truth mosaics itself, if you let it. In the bedroom, I packed methodically. My clothes, my documents, the carved wooden box with my grandmother's faint lavender still living under the lid. I left anything we'd bought together, the kettle, the cast iron pan, the plant, RIP in advance. I was tempted to take the framed photo of us at the climbing gym, where Adam looked exuberant and I looked steady. I left it. I'm not a curator of lost illusions. The nightstand yielded a notebook I'd never seen. Adam's, navy, with a rubber band like a promise. I didn't mean to open it. My hands did it anyway. Relationship goals and standards he'd titled the first page. I skimmed. Real love, equals fights, plus big reconciliation. Jealousy equals passion. If she doesn't panic when you leave, she didn't invest. Some lines were stamped in Lila's voice. Others glowed with Ashley's fake scientific certainty. On the last page, a pros and cons list about me. Pros: makes me laugh, remembers my coffee order, pays on time, great with my nephew, calm. Cons are too calm, doesn't get jealous, logical. Lila's friends say she's boring. Boring. The word sat there like a pebble that had hurt for years. I set the notebook where I found it. Then I wrote a note and left it on the kitchen counter, under his favorite mug. Adam, I took only what's mine. I photographed the apartment as I left it. Rent is paid through month's end. Your sister and friends can help you figure out the rest. They've already been managing your relationship. If you or anyone in your circle post falsehoods, I'll post receipts. M. On the way out, I changed the password to my accounts. Streaming, cloud storage, the joint grocery app I'd been primarily funding. The Netflix line from last night's performance made me smile as I typed, "Goodbye, Kings," a joke just for me. The flying monkeys arrived by late afternoon. My notification bar bloomed with disapproval. Lila, it was just a test. You're overreacting. Meredith, you're cruel. Adam's devastated. Unknown. How could you abandon him over a silly prank? Ashley. Gaslighting? Mutual friend Destiny. Hey, are you okay? Adam says you freaked out about money problems and left. I answered exactly one. Me. Destiny. He staged a fake breakup to measure love while secretly recording me. His friends wrote him a script. I flipped it to show how manipulative it was. I left because they wanted a performance instead of a partner. There was a long pause, then, Destiny. Oh, hell no. That's psycho behavior. Do you have proof? Me. Screenshots. Lots. Destiny. If you ever want someone to witness a conversation or help you move, I'm yours. I exhaled. There's always one reasonable person, one quiet witness who recognizes ballast when she sees it. That evening, I returned for one last sweep. The apartment felt like the inside of a thought I wasn't thinking anymore. I sat on the floor for 5 minutes and let the grief pass through like weather. The thing about competence is it looks bloodless from the outside. Inside, it is 1,000 tiny funerals with good lighting. As I stood, my phone buzzed with a public post. Adam Kincaid. When you give someone your whole heart and they run at the first sign of trouble. Lila liked it. Ashley commented, some people can't handle authentic emotion. I opened my folder. I had the script. I had the metrics. I had the chat where Lila typed, if she doesn't beg, she never loved you. I had a video still, exported from the recording I found in Adam's files. A few seconds of his camera pointed at the ceiling as he rehearsed Lila's lines. I didn't want to humiliate him. I wanted him to stop lying. I replied with restraint. One screenshot. The script, with names visible and timestamps clear. My caption. Authentic emotion shouldn't require a rehearsal. The comment section split like a cell. Tyler DM'd me within the hour. Yo, did Meredith really test me? I sent him the relevant screenshots. Kira touching his arm, Meredith tallying micro flinches like a lab assistant. He read them then. I'm done. Thank you. Dominoes tip in slow motion until suddenly they're just falling. By the next morning, 2 more boyfriends had reached out. Ashley's ex and Kira's current. The one with Kira drafted a long, trembling paragraph that began, I thought I was crazy, and ended, I'm packing now. I told him to photograph his belongings, to take what was his, to breathe. Adam tried a different route. Contrition by voicemail. Marin, I'm sorry, I didn't mean, Lila said, can we talk? 30 minutes later, another tone. You humiliated me publicly. My boss saw your post. Then a threat disguised as a boundary. Don't contact me again. 10 minutes after that, a guilt grenade. I can't afford rent without you, please. I typed and deleted a dozen replies. In the end, I sent none. Silence is a sentence with a period where an exclamation point wants to live. At lunch, he showed up at my job. Security called up. There's a man crying in the lobby asking for 5 minutes. I went down because I refused to let other people clean up my scenes. Adam stood by the ficus wearing the face of a boy on the day after Christmas. Please, he said when he saw me, 5 minutes. No, I said. I will not be filmed again. I will not be graded. His eyes sparked. There's no camera. That's what you said the last time, I said mildly, and glanced at the pocket where his phone created a nervous square. He followed my gaze and flinched. The guard stepped close. Sir? Adam lifted his hands. Okay. He looked at me like I'd become a locked box. I'll lose the apartment. You had a committee for our love, I said. They can help you budget. He swallowed rage or pride or both, then left, bumping the ficus with his shoulder like it had insulted him. The smear over time began before my shift ended. Meredith posted that I'd stolen heirlooms on my way out. Ashley added that I'd taken $300 cash. Kira claimed I'd hidden Adam's car keys. I answered calmly. Photos of the apartment as I left it. Time-stamped. Screenshots of Amazon orders for the heirloom books she said I'd stolen, purchased by me. Bank statements showing no cash withdrawals that day. A cheerful photo of the keys on the hook by the door. The comments turned like a tide that had been waiting for gravity. Girl, this is embarrassing. Not the receipts. Maybe don't lie about theft? Within an hour, the posts were deleted. But screenshots, like ballast, do not vanish. That night, Garrett put a second blanket on the couch and turned down the lights. There's beer, he said, and there's a terrible action movie queued up if you want to turn your brain off. Maybe after I change my Netflix password again, I said. He raised a brow. Just in case Adam thinks he owns the underground betting platform, I said, and for the first time in 2 days, we both laughed. By the end of that week, the situation evolved from messy breakup to social implosion. The Queens Supporting Queens group had turned into a digital demolition site. Someone, probably Tyler, had shared my screenshots in a larger mutuals chat called Real Talk. The evidence spread like wildfire. Suddenly, half the city's friend groups were whispering about the loyalty test girls and their obsession with manufacturing heartbreak for content. I didn't post again. I didn't need to. Truth, once lit, doesn't require tending. Still, my phone filled with collateral stories. Tyler messaged, "You were right. Meredith finally admitted the whole test thing. We're done." Ashley's ex posted a TikTok summarizing his fake breakup experience. The comments roasted the emotional scientists of the Queen chat. Kira's boyfriend sent me a quiet thank you DM. "I thought it was my fault every time she cried after creating drama. I get it now." Within days, 3 of the 4 self-crowned queens were single. As for Adam, he oscillated between self-pity and deflection. I woke up to a flood of voicemails ranging from, "I just want closure," to, "You ruined my life." One started calm, "Marin, I know I messed up," and slid into blame. "You made me look like a manipulative jerk to everyone." "You didn't need my help with that," I thought. The last message hit different. "I'm getting evicted because I can't cover rent. Please, just talk to me." For 1 second, my old reflex twitched, the part that wants to fix, to help, to smooth. Then I remembered the Thai place, the script, the hidden camera. Compassion has limits when trust becomes performance art. I didn't respond. 2 nights later, Adam showed up at Garrett's apartment. Garrett buzzed me from downstairs. "You expecting company?" I wasn't. From the window, I saw Adam pacing in the streetlight glow, a bouquet of half-wilted carnations dangling from one hand. I didn't open the door. Garrett went down instead. They spoke for less than a minute. Adam left the flowers on the steps. By morning, the stems had dried into small, crinkled apologies. By midweek, Adam pivoted strategies. He began posting. When someone weaponizes your vulnerability, stay strong. Healing from a narcissist is real work. Some people fake kindness the way others fake orgasms. Each caption paired with a moody photo of him at the gym or staring into a coffee mug. Lila, Meredith, and Ashley filled the comments with hearts and flame emojis. The narrative was clear. Marin equals manipulative villain. Then he made a mistake. He added a long blog post titled, "How to Spot a Narcissist, My Story." It was the same format every online pity manifesto follows. Vague allegations, no specifics, and a generous dose of armchair psychology. According to him, I had isolated him from his support system. Translation, I asked for one dinner without his sister. Mocked his emotions. Translation, I refused to beg and lied compulsively. Translation, I reversed his fake breakup scene. At first, people sympathized. Men can be victims too. She sounds cold. Emotional abuse isn't gendered. Then someone in the comments asked, "Wait, wasn't this the guy who did a breakup test?" I didn't say a word. Others did it for me. Screenshots resurfaced. Someone linked my earlier post with the script attached. People compared timestamps, phrasing, handwriting. Within hours, the thread flipped. "So you staged a breakup to test her, and she didn't perform grief for your camera, and now she's the narcissist? Bro, this is not therapy, it's theater. Delete this before future employers see it." He deleted the blog overnight, but the cached version stayed circulating. By Friday, I heard through Destiny that the fallout had gone nuclear. Meredith had moved back in with her parents. Ashley deleted all social media after losing her job at the boutique when customers recognized her name from the posts. Kira's boyfriend exposed the entire Queen chat to their coworkers. She resigned within days. Lila went quiet online, but her fiancé apparently postponed their wedding to reevaluate priorities. I felt no triumph, just a strange stillness, the kind that comes after you've braced for an earthquake and realize it's over. Garrett found me that weekend on the couch, laptop open to a blank document. "You writing about it?" he asked. "Not yet," I said, "just listing lessons." He sat down beside me. "Number 1, don't date a man who crowdsources his emotional decisions." I smiled. "That's near the top." "Number 2, screenshots save lives." He laughed. "Amen." Then, as if reading my thoughts, he said, "You know you didn't overreact, right? People act like calm equals cold, but you were the only adult in a room full of actors." I nodded. "I just wish I'd seen it sooner." "That's the trick with quiet people," Garrett said. "We don't see the storm until it breaks the windows." The next week, Adam tried again. New number, new tone. "Hey, I've been in therapy. I understand now how my friends influence me. Can we meet for coffee? Just to end things properly?" I read it 3 times. The phrases were perfect, polished. I've been in therapy, influenced by others. Closure. Then I noticed the timestamp on the number registration, 1 day old, a burner SIM. I blocked it. An hour later, another message from a different number. "You really can't forgive one mistake? You ruined my life. You'll regret this. You think you're better than me now?" Each one shorter, meaner, less literate. The true voice creeping out from behind the therapy talk. Blocked again. The final silence was the loudest gift. That Friday, Destiny texted, "Want to meet someone new? My friend Luca climbs at your gym." I hesitated. The idea of dating again felt like standing near an electric fence. But Luca turned out to be a quiet listener with calloused hands and a disarming laugh. He asked real questions. No tests, no scripts, no therapy jargon. When I told him the story on our third outing, he blinked in disbelief. "People actually do that?" he asked. "Fake breakups to collect data?" "Apparently," I said. He shook his head. Middle school logic in adult bodies. We both laughed, and something unknotted quietly inside me. I still get the occasional DM about the Queen Circle, usually from strangers who stumbled on old screenshots. I don't reply anymore. The internet has enough commentaries. But sometimes, when my apartment goes still at night and the hum of the dishwasher clicks on, I think about how everything started, with a test designed to measure love by how much pain you're willing to display. I've learned that love measured by begging isn't love at all. It's insecurity seeking applause. Competence still hums. The boat stays balanced. And this time, I'm sailing alone. Steady, boring, alive. A month later, the story that once devoured my notifications became something I heard about from other people's mouths. The internet had moved on, to new scandals, new villains, but inside the wreckage, the echo still lingered. Lila's group, the self-appointed queens supporting queens, had collapsed under its own weight. Screenshots, counter-screenshots, apology posts, private voice notes leaking like hairline cracks in glass. None of them trusted each other anymore. They'd built an empire on emotional surveillance, and now every one of them was afraid of being recorded. Meredith tried to post a public redemption arc, captioned "Growth Era," but the comments turned into a battlefield of ex-boyfriends and friends who'd been collateral damage. She deleted her account within a week. Ashley, last I heard, moved to another city to start fresh, though her new handle still trended once when someone found her old OnlyFans under the same email address she'd used in the Queen chat. Kira reinvented herself with a podcast about feminine intuition. Episode 1 was called Testing Your Partner the Right Way. The irony could have powered a small town. And Lila, the mastermind, the sister, the strategist, went radio silent. I saw a tagged photo months later. Her engagement ring gone. Caption, "Taking time to find myself." The comment section was mercifully empty. As for Adam, his online footprint shrank by the day. The blog vanished, then his gym selfies. Mutuals stopped sharing his posts. I heard through Destiny that he was working 2 jobs to keep up with bills I used to split, bartending at night, rideshare driving on weekends. He sent one last email from an address I didn't recognize. Subject for closure. Marin, I know you don't want to talk, but I want to say I'm sorry. I let people control how I saw you. You didn't deserve that. I'm in therapy now. Real therapy this time, not podcast wisdom. I'm trying to figure out why I needed you to prove love instead of just trusting it. I wish you the best. Adam. I didn't reply. Not out of spite. Out of peace. Some letters don't need punctuation from the other side. Life resumed its quiet rhythm. I moved into a new apartment. Small, bright, with a kitchen that hummed like an old song. I set up my spreadsheet again, renamed the tabs. Bills, groceries, new beginnings. Sometimes I caught myself double-checking the locks, not for safety, but habit. Like part of me was still guarding against ambushes disguised as affection. But most nights the hum of the dishwasher was enough to steady me. Garrett still checked in. "Any new drama?" he'd tease. "Not unless you count my landlord raising rent 5%, I'd say." He'd grin. "At least it's honest." And then there was Luca. Our connection unfolded quietly. Shared playlists, climbing routes, laughter that didn't need to prove anything. The first time he asked to come over, I froze mid-sentence. Not fear, just reflex. He noticed. "If you need time, I can wait." I nodded. "I just don't do well with surprises anymore." "No tests," he said simply. "You'll always know what I'm thinking." It wasn't a grand promise, but it landed like one. Months later, he still kept it. No hidden recordings, no games, just presence. Real, steady presence. One night over dinner, he asked, "If you could redo that whole thing, what would you change?" I thought about it. The Thai place, the script, the moment I decided to flip the story. "Nothing," I said. "If I hadn't seen who they really were, I'd still be explaining my calm to people who mistake it for distance." He smiled. "You're the least distant person I've met." "Because you actually listen," I said. I don't follow any of them online anymore, but the algorithm still tries. Sometimes a post from Lila slips through, filtered quotes about healing and self-worth. Sometimes the universe removes people from your life to protect you. And every time I see it, I laugh quietly. Yes, Lila, the universe removed me. You just happened to hand it the scissors. The final irony came 6 months later. A journalist from a small relationship podcast reached out. Hi, Marin. I'm covering viral breakup tests and emotional manipulation trends. I read your post last year, the one with the screenshots. Would you consider sharing your perspective on how these tests erode trust? I hesitated. I didn't want to reopen old wounds. But then I remembered all the people who'd messaged me privately after the fallout. The men who'd been tested, the women who'd been gaslit, the quiet ones who'd been told they were boring for being steady. So I said yes, on one condition: no names. The episode aired a month later. The title was Love Doesn't Need Witnesses. I talked about communication, about how testing a partner teaches you more about your fear than their loyalty, about how love isn't a performance, it's an agreement to stay curious about another person. It didn't go viral. It didn't need to. The right people heard it. Sometimes, when the night is quiet and the apartment hums, I still think about Adam's script, the way each line was supposed to make me beg. But I didn't beg, I built. A life without surveillance, a love without auditions, a peace that doesn't need to be proven. Competence still doesn't sparkle. It hums. The lights dim. The dishes click. And somewhere between the steady rhythm and the silence, I remember, ballast isn't glamorous. It's what keeps you from sinking. And I'll take boring, steady, alive over dramatic, tested, and broken every single time.